Hello, everyone, and welcome to our press conference for Shotgun Round 2 of the 2018 General Tire World Championship. Today's leader, today's champion, Skeet Reese. Congratulations, Skeet.
Thank you. It was a fun day.
It was a fun day, at least for us watching at home. I want to ask you, obviously you're a part of Team General Tire. We are here at the General Tire World Championship. It's your first time here. What does it mean to you to come out and have the performance that you did today and guarantee yourself that spot going straight into sudden death?
Well, it feels good to be able to represent General Tire and as far as all the sponsors here, but that's why this is just step one. I can't get too excited about what I've done so far. It's just I'm able to get myself to sudden death round at this point in time, but it really ultimately doesn't matter until the final day. And hopefully, then if I'm do my job and everything goes right, then I hold the General Tire World Championship trophy over my head, and then that'll be good.
You caught him pretty consistently throughout the entire day, but there was one point there late in the day where it looked like you just stepped on the gas and like ran away with it. So you caught almost 15 pounds in a 19-minute stretch. So what exactly was the condition that happened there when you switched out baits?
It was pretty fun. That's like I put the throttle down. It was like, whoa! That was good. It was actually, I've been going back and forth through baits throughout the day, but a vibrating jig wound up being my go-to bait, and that's what I was catching most of them on. But I'd missed a lot of fish today, and I lost a lot of fish. And there's one, I got one little point there, and I missed a fish again. I'm like, something's wrong, something's not right. And I had that spinnerbait tied on, and really, it goes back to, I don't have a lot of experience in Florida, but growing up, I remember watching Roland Martin and Rick Clunn throwing spinnerbaits in Florida when it's windy and cloudy and catching giants. And so it's one of those things, I had a conscious decision to tie that up in practice if the conditions were right. Conditions got right, so I picked it up, and that was the best decision I made all day. It got fun there for a little bit.
Excellent. Skeet, were there any particular products or baits that helped you win today?
Well, I was throwing all the baits I was throwing on my 7-foot spinnerbait rod, which is by Eagle Claw, Wright McGill. I was throwing on 20-pound Trilene 100% fluorocarbon. I was throwing a vibrating jig and a spinnerbait. It wasn't, nothing, it wasn't like some super secret technique. It was just a matter of covering water and finding the right conditions. So I think the one thing that helped me today was the Lowrance mapping on the lake we fished. I was able to see that there was a deeper section of this lake with some steeper contours to it. And so I chose to look at that area. Come to find out, I guess it was maybe an old horse racing track or something like that, I heard. So that it was a thoroughbred race in that racetrack today. That's all I know.
Skeet, throughout the day, you talked about you used a vibrating jig and you lost fish and all. So how were they setting up on that, and how did that vibrating jig become your primary bait until you switched over to that spinner bait? How did that work out for you?
So the key today was wind. I went around, and even through the drive-through this morning, I got down on the trailer, put the trolling motor down, and looked through shallow water, seeing if I could see beds, because obviously we're kind of in the springtime. I saw a bunch of tilapia beds, so nothing that made me really excited about staying up shallow. So at that point in time, when we started fishing this morning, I thought that wind would be my best friend today. And it wound up being, it was. So you had to find something where the wind was pushing directly up on either a point or a wall of grass. And the fish were tucked up right along. They weren't deep. They'd be only maybe a foot down, 2 foot down. But you had to be fishing where the wind was pushed right up against it, because it was pushing the bait in there. So you could be 6 to 8 foot of water, maybe out the deepest part of it, but those fish were up tight against the grass. And a bladed bait just actually goes through grass real easily, and it's a bait that I've gained confidence in the last couple of years. And obviously I think I won a Summit Cup last year on a bladed bait, vibrating jig. But the spinner bait was definitely a key. It was interesting is that they look like needlefish, and I saw a lot of big fish busting on the surface today at times, and I swear they're eating these needlefish, because you throw a bait up right on the edge of the grass and you would scare them once in a while. You could see this little needlefish just jump out of the water, and I would see them get chased once in a while. So, whether the bladed bait, the bladed jig, or the spinner bait was representing that, not sure, but that was the key, is the wind.
Skeet, let's go back and talk about the weather. This morning it was sunshine, and then it got overcast almost to the point that it was raining, and then it was mixed in the afternoon. How did that affect the fishing?
Well, it was interesting, because typically we see there'd be a morning bite and midday sucks and the afternoon bite turns on. That's a pretty common pattern we see through not just Major League Fishing, but all tournament fishing. So we had a little run this morning. McClellan starts the leaderboard off with a 7-pounder, I believe, today. I'm like, oh gosh, we're going to be in like Jurassic Park here. But the wind and when it was sunny in the morning, it was still kind of low light. So you got sun coming up. There was shady sides of the grass lines that I think were beneficial to fish. But then it wound up just being the wind, then the combination of cloud covers just allowed it to be a great reaction bait fishing day. And the wind, the stronger the wind got, I think that the more it pushed those fish and tightened them up on little isolated deals, and they were there to eat today.
Can you tell us about the lake you were on today and the condition of the fish? Were they spawning, pre-spawn, post-spawn?
Well, I believe we're on Lake Garcia today. Never even heard of it, never seen it before. It's a very interesting lake. If you look at the Lawrence mapping, there's just tons of shallow flats, but then it almost looked like a bunch of old flooded rice fields where there's levees running throughout the lake, and they're running north, south, east, west, so kind of all these little different ponds. But then there's this one section that I concentrated in today that you could see it had deeper water. It had 6 to 8 foot of water and some deeper contour lines. And that wound up being the key area. And I looked around, it's like, because McClellan wasn't far from me. Ike and Ellie and I were bouncing around fishing the same water. So I think it was just, for me, it wound up being, I was chasing the wind, but I was able to chase the wind finally into the right area. And got in, once I got on good water, then that was the key.
Skeet, you ended the day with 70 pounds, 15 ounces, almost 71 pounds. That reaction tells me everything I need to know, but have you ever had a weigh-in like that? And how does that make you feel on your first day of World Championship competition?
Well, it's interesting is that 70 pounds, it sounds good, but when I looked at what I was fighting all day, it didn't matter. I mean, it's pounds and ounces separating myself and Mike and Aaron and Ike. It was just a battle. So it doesn't matter whether you're catching a 1-pounder or a 4-pounder is all relevant to, you knew you had to catch one more fish to jump ahead of that guy. And whether it was a 4-pounder or 1-pounder, but this lake here, it just happened that there was a decent number of good quality fish. It was 2.5 to 4-pound class fish that you were able to make up some ground real quick. And it was interesting because after we're going out into the final round, final period, I was in 4th place, like 7 pounds back. And to me at that time, it sounded like monumental. It's like, man, this sucks. I'm going out here 7 pounds back. And guys are catching them. But all of a sudden, within 30 minutes, I'm back in the lead or whatever it was. I'm like, oh, that went away quick. So as impressive as it sounds to be, catch 70 pounds, it didn't feel like I had that incredible of a day. It felt like it was a grind, just catching one at a time to stay ahead of the next guy.
So expand on that a little bit more. You mentioned the fact that you never even heard of this lake before, but you know what swims down here. Like we're down here at the time of the year where you could catch a 9-pounder, you could catch an 11-pounder.
Yeah.
Does that run through your head through the course of all this stuff, or how does the whole big fish mystique of this particular locale play into what you're thinking about?
Well, when we got here this morning at the takeoff, and we see we're in Lake Garcia, I see a map. I've never fished. Well, I shouldn't say it. I have one day on a lake called Lake Kenansville or something like that. They call it like Jurassic Park or something like that. It's the only thing I've ever seen that's similar to it, like 2 to 5 foot of water, grass. But it's like in my head, I'm thinking that's this looks similar to that, and that's what I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this could be like the land of giants. And I'm fully expecting to hear score tracker update, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounder. And it was actually, I think it was the first few fish were like 1, 1, 1, 2. I'm like, now that's the Florida fishing I'm used to. You catch little pound, pound and a halfers. But then it was McClellan's 7s. I'm like, oh boy. Then at that point in time, it kind of changed my thought process a little bit. It's like, do I need to go big? Like I'm thinking, do I pull out like big baits all day and try and catch 8s and 9s? But then as the score tracker kept going, it was just, there's a lot of pound, pound and a half. Then you catch a 2, 2.5, a couple 3s. So I was like, all right, it's kind of normal. But I thought for sure somewhere through the course of this day that somebody was going to jack a big one. I really did. Not that a 7 doesn't, sucks. It's a good fish, but I thought for sure somebody was going to catch it 9, 10, 11.
All right, Skeet, there was a lot of movement up and down the score tracker today, and the anglers that were leading had very different styles. And so do you have any idea why that was? Or why they were leading when they did?
Well, I think like McClellan, I talked to him just a little bit. He said his area just dried up. He'd milked it for all it was worth. I think for some, it was just whether they milked the area, then they caught all they could out of it. The one thing that I realized is the water I wound up fishing today wound up replenishing because they were like these main points in this entire deepest section of the lake where the wind was pushing on them. So fish that were roaming throughout would finally pull up and set up on these points. And every hour or whatever it was, you go back through there and you catch one. I lost and missed a lot of fish today. I could probably, realistically, I probably could have pushed 100 pounds today if I had landed everything.
So Skeet, going into sudden death, you've already made it there. You're probably 99% sure you're going to a different lake. What changes when you go to that, as you prepare to go to that lake? Are you going to change out your different types of tackle? Are you going to try to look, or do you just say, hey, this is Florida, this is what we do, and this is what I would do if I go anywhere in Florida?
I'm gonna have 21 rods rigged just like I did going out today, not knowing what the conditions are, what lake we're going to, being set up with stuff for sight fishing to offshore fishing, knowing typically Florida's gonna be grass. I got a lot of stuff for that mid-range, but I just have to go into open-minded and just realize that we're going to a different body of water. I'm pretty sure we would do that. Pretty common, and just hopefully just fish open-minded and get on the right deal, same deal, wherever we go. And if I got to pick up a spinning rod or if I got to pick up a drop shot or a swim bait, I don't care.
What did you learn on the water in periods 1 and 2 that was the biggest factor in helping you seal the deal in period 3?
Well, it's interesting is when I was going back out in the third period, I had said that I was going to go fish new water, and I was going to go chase the wind and try and find new water that the wind was pushing up, and it could have been super shallow offshore stuff. And my intent was to do that when we took off. As I was running down the lake, and in the back of my head, I'm sitting there thinking, this section of the lake sets up better than anything else I see on the mapping. It's got the deepest water around. So I was like, and the wind was pushing pretty good when we went out the third period. It's like, well, let me just pull up on this bank and I'll try it. There was one hard grass line that was a few hundred yards long. I said, let me just go down this, and we'll go down. I catch one, then I catch a 4-pounder, and okay, well maybe I'll stay a little longer. Because at that point I was ready to leave, and then I said, well, there's 3 points out there. I said, let me go pull on this one, try it. Pull up there, catch one, go to the next one, catch one. I'm like, So then I'm like, screw that, I'm gonna stay here. I just had a rotation. I went through and just finding the right, wherever the wind was pushing up on a point right. You had some hydrilla mixed in there, and that was it. I had a game plan, I bailed on it, and fortunately it worked out good.
How does your mentality change fishing sudden death instead of an elimination round?
Don't know yet because I'm not fishing sudden death yet. So it'll be interesting to see.
You're gonna skip the next.
Oh, I get to, yeah, I do get to, I just fast forward to go. I get to go straight to sudden death. And really today I was really stressed out about having to fish the second day of shotgun round as far as being second, third, fourth place. And because only 2 of those 5 guys are going to make it. That's going to be a lot more pressure fishing on that next round for all these guys. So the next 2 days of fishing, these guys are going to be, I thought I was tight today. Those guys are going to be really tight. So it feels good. I accomplished a goal that I set out to do today, and fortunately I was able to make it happen. I got it done, and next step.
All right, Skeet. Well, 1 goal down, 2 more goals in front of you. We wish you the best of luck in that, and congratulations again on your win today.
Thank you very much.